Liao is my name. I am to share with you what's happening between Taiwan, the Republic of China, and the People's Republic of China on the other side of the Taiwan Strait. In the world, in United Nations, how many countries now still recognize Taiwan? Do you know?
20.
Only 20 out of 190 some countries of UN recognize, call us Republic of China. All the other countries refer to us by Taiwan, or in writing they follow the so-called United Nations system or the ISO 3661 system, say Taiwan, province of China, which happened here recently. In a way, it's not practical because many things, many trouble can come up if you use Taiwan, province of China, because the postal package, the mails you send to Taiwan may divert and be delivered to Beijing, and they can purposely not forward those postal packages to Taiwan at all. It happened. It has happened. So that's the one example of what's not practical if you say Taiwan, province of China. If you know the difference of geographical size between China and Taiwan, and if you know what Taiwan has achieved after China was lost to the communists, then you would say, well, luckily, we still have Taiwan. You will say that, and you will help to keep Taiwan there because of all these universal values that we cherish and enjoy every day. We take for granted. We take these freedom for granted, but it's not shared by our friends in the mainland China. When you go to China, you want to Google. Now, suppose you're in China, you want to Google in the internet a phrase, an idiom, that's what I heard, and it must be true. An idiom that starts with the last name of their supreme leader now, Mr. Xi. If you want to Google an idiom, a good idiom, you won't find it. Any idiom that starts with the leader's last name is forbidden from being Googled. Like, to study is 习, to become a good habit, 学习, you learn, 学习. The two words involved, the second word is the leader's last name. In China, allegedly, you won't be able to Google that. Correct me if I'm wrong, okay? This happened 500 years ago in Ming Dynasty. The emperor at those years, at that dynasty, says, you're not supposed to use wrong words in your writing. Scholars, mind you, if you use the wrong word, what's the wrong word? My name, the emperor's name, Chu, last name. If you use my name in your writing, you'll be serious case, put to death. Less serious case, spanked many times in the court. That's called imprisonment by using the wrong word. And it's reviving in the 21st century in the second richest country in the world. For a nation of 23 million, in those years, only a little bit more than 10 million. It grew to 23 million now. Okay, in those years, around 10 million. For a country that's 1/13 the size of Sweden, with 2/3 high mountains, and a population that small, and no membership in UN, and only a few countries recognizing you, to survive and make it successful, and more importantly, to have become a wonderful, successful student of the Western value, freedom, democracy, respect of all rights. In fact, question, which country in Asia is the first to recognize same-sex marriage?
Taiwan.
Does anybody know?
Taiwan.
Even before Australia. It's not to say that it's anything great, but it's something to test about a country's open-mindedness. Well, we have to have enough open-minded people to want to accept that and respect people of all kinds of belief. So we became #1 in Asia. Internet Online gaming, it's very popular, right? We know online gaming, it takes a lot of support to win. Taiwanese teams win not once, but twice so far last year. International online gaming. They said, why Taiwan teams? Why not American teams, Japanese teams? They're all much bigger than Taiwan. Taiwan teams. And it takes a lot of support for a young team to win international online gaming. French people are very snobbish when it comes to baking French bread, right? Nobody are supposed to bake bread better than the French people, right? But not once, twice. They gave championship, gold medal to Taiwanese bakers as the best baker of the world. But it doesn't happen overnight. It takes 40, 30 years of open mind education like here, that you're willing to allow freedom, creativity, so you have a young man, a young baker that can win baking championship in Paris. The two sides decided to meet not once, many times, sometimes in Shanghai, once in Singapore, and they reached a so-called now 1992 consensus to say there is only one China, but it's up to the two sides of Taiwan Strait, Taiwan and mainland China, to interpret. You interpret it as People's Republic of China. We are going to interpret it as Republic of China because we hold on to the Western value. You don't, so you go ahead and call yourselves People's Republic of China. And it's the understanding, it wasn't written down. There was no paper, written down. It was just by, a consensus, kind of in spirit. In 1996, Taiwan wanted to have an election of president by the general population. It never happened in Asia. It never happened in Chinese-speaking communities. Singapore, Hong Kong, mainland China, Taiwan. The Chinese people in general in these areas never had a chance to express their will by themselves in choosing a national leader. So Taiwan in 1996 says, we want to elect vote by vote our own president. China was not very happy, so it started to send missiles into the Taiwan Strait to harass Taiwan, to scare Taiwan, so that maybe we would not carry out that election. But we did, because USA ran to our help. President Clinton at that time sent the 7th Pacific Fleet to Taiwan Strait to protect Taiwan, so we could have a general election to elect our own president. So Taiwan became the first Chinese-speaking country to have that kind of president. Okay, 1996. In 2000, government changed, and which was good. Like all the Western democracies, we now have smooth political change from party to party, from Nationalist Party to the Democratic Progressive Party in 2000. And then in 2008, changed back to the Nationalist Party, which is a common practice by democratic countries in the West. But so far, not in China yet, not in Singapore yet. Even we love Singapore for their, wonderful way of life, but they don't even have this kind of political practice that we enjoy in Taiwan. And how we wish for our friends in China that they can sooner enjoy multi-party democracy and they can elect their own president, just the way you do, the way we do, that we can choose our leaders as we want to. 60-some% of the Taiwanese people, more than 50%, in the middle of the spectrum, that says, let us remain status quo. And we don't want to tell you what we want, reunification or independence. If we keep that status quo there, Taiwan is okay. Taiwan can move on longer. Because of the change of government in Taiwan, China treats Taiwan in different ways. At this moment, China is treating Taiwan in a very, very seriously hard way that they decrease the economic and trade activities to Taiwan, they decrease tourism to Taiwan, they block Taiwan's international participation, they even use their economic influence in the world to change Taiwan's name, like what happened here recently. The tax agency used to use Republic of China, Taiwan in the population certificate. In the Swedish version, it says this Taiwanese Swedish citizen is from Republic of China, Taiwan. In the English version of that certificate, it has been Taiwan, province of China for all those years until February of this year. It suddenly changed everything to Taiwan, province of China, Swedish or English. But more importantly than this, let me share with you, and maybe you already know why Taiwan matters. Imagine China is allowed to take Taiwan back right today, and they say, well, all the countries in the world, USA, Sweden, England, France, don't bother reminding us of democracy or freedom. Don't bother. We have Taiwan back. We are one country. You cannot compare. Okay? But now, the Western world still have Taiwan as a good example to compare when it comes to freedom, democracy, and universal value. You can say, they are Chinese people in Taiwan, 23 million. You are Chinese people in mainland China, 1.3 billion. If the 23 million people in Taiwan can do this and that, uphold the universal value and live freely like the Western people, why can't you? So that's why we want the Western world to keep Taiwan there, to help uphold this wonderful universal value, so that we can sooner help our friends in China. We feel for them. We can help them to enjoy the same kind of universal value as we all do.